Hello again. I hope you're all well and ready for my next mini lecture. This is number 6, and we're still talking about your textbook. And I've already spoken about part 1, which has to do with building your path, building the practitioner's path. And of course, we build our paths through science and through our ability to develop a philosophy about the field. And part 2 is going to begin the discussion about supporting the practitioner's path. And we support the path with principles that really frame our thinking. And I call them philosophical and therapeutic pillars of practice. So this part of the textbook, part 2, contains 5 chapters. And these chapters are presented, they're presented as qualities or as attitudes for the practitioner in relationship to self, clients, and also emerging professional issues in our field. Much of the information introduced in part 2 really provides a foundation for a solid therapeutic approach and the underpinnings of the therapeutic attitude, which is one of the second attitude that we need to develop. And in some ways, the formulation of this was really born out of interest in fields like positive psychology, where we talk about, using our strengths to help us develop a sense of well-being, which is important to every field. So this section is also a tribute to the universal laws and principles really that drive everything that goes on, and started with ancient mystical teachings that go back, thousands and thousands of years from ancient Egypt and Greece and India, and they all have common threads connecting these types of laws. Different cultures refer to them in different ways, but I have reviewed a lot of this kind of philosophical information that I've always had a love for, and I've attempted to capture some of the overriding themes that support our practices and that we know will impact the course of our treatment programs. So the supporting principles that are going to be covered as reflected by each of the 5 chapters are reflection, counsel and care, balance and harmony, growth, and detachment. And it's these types of guiding principles and enduring truths that are really going to provide the supporting backbone of our practice, and they will help us set the trajectory for our entire professional lives. Part 2 of the textbook is more about the human aspects of competency, qualities, traits. They're very difficult to teach. They're especially difficult to measure, and they sometimes get omitted from our textbooks and from our training programs. And I think continuing education is starting to cover more of them. But they really are aspects of our practice that need to be cultivated. The section of the textbook is really about utilizing and enhancing oneself as a tool of practice. And it really acknowledges that our beliefs and our insights and our perspectives and our judgments all become underpinnings of the therapeutic process, which is sometimes referred to as the therapeutic use of self. And it's talked about as an artful tool of practice that really informs the science of evidence, and it really enables us to sustain not only our professional self, but our personal self. It's sometimes referred to as a port of entry as an alternative to the knowledge and the skills and the cognitive areas that are our expertise. So it's sometimes referred to, rather than working from the outside in and getting the knowledge and information from outside of ourselves, it's the kind of work that goes on from the inside out. And when we work this way from the inside out, we're focusing on more affective and reflective processes. We have to keep in mind that we are in a service profession that's driven by humanistic values, and that professionalism consists of more than cognitive expertise and technical competencies. So we have to learn how to connect with our core values. And a lot of these core values can be viewed through an ancient or even a universal lens. And that helps us combat the drone of the bureaucracies and all of the framing regulations that really drive much of what goes on in the bureaucratic sense in education and healthcare. So I really think that this needs to be part of our professional consciousness, and that this is the beginning of your journey on the practitioner's path, and this will be an important part of the journey. Thank you.